I think on average in LA, I think for a studio, it's like $1,600 a month. But like where UCLA is located, it actually is pretty expensive. So a lot of my like classmates for like a studio, I think are paying like $1,800 a month. Yeah, which is a lot. I will say, like at the beginning of school, like when classes first started, I kind of kept it the secret. I didn't want anyone to know I was living in a van. I kind of worried. I was like, will the school kick me out? Will they think it's unprofessional? Okay, it's Saturday morning. Just heading to a suturing workshop right now. Really looking forward to it. It's so hard to get it right here. It's like... Will Norman be able to get in? You should come in. Norman's first visit. Welcome home. I guess once I've learned that like everyone was cool with living in a van, I started telling more people, and now I have like people regularly hanging out in here.
Oh, this is so cozy. Oh, so sweet. Is it coffee? Oh, sorry, I'm looking.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Tea time. Thanks.
Cheers. Cheers. Okay, we're making some dinner. We got Jason in the van, in the house.
A place to sit and eat, so I'm either on my couch or on my bed. Southern Narrative Medicine Interest Group is hosting a writing workshop.
Tonight.
Is that you?
No. Okay, so we got Andrew in the house, and we got Sam over here. Sam is a first-time visitor. First-time visitor. Andrew's already seen this, but Sam, what do you think?
Dude, this is incredible, man. Like, I'm in awe of like the effort and the fact that you really embrace this like very simplistic lifestyle.
I see Sam. It's my Sam. Ethan? Hi! Is that your front door? How hard is it to park around here? It doesn't look easy.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. Luckily, I just normally like find one spot and stick with it.
For how long? It's just street cleaning on Friday. So for instance, you could stay here all week?
Yeah, pretty much. So you can move just like once a week, which is really nice. The like one negative thing is it does take up like a lot of gas. So I like to bike around as much as I can.
Why did you do this? I mean, is this housing just really expensive?
I could have taken out like more loans. It was just a more thoughtful decision to live as simply as possible. All my friends are like, how can you do this? It's so challenging. Honestly, it's not too bad. There's been like some inconveniences. Like you have to find a place to fill up on water. So I have these 2 like 7-gallon tanks in here, just 2 little ones.
So and that's hard to find a place with even as a med student, like to go to I guess they're too big for a regular sink.
So what I end up doing is I call up my friends who live at like the UCLA apartments, and I head over there and I take some water. Kind of feel like a water thief, but I think it's okay. No one's gotten mad at me. So it's just 2 7-gallon tanks, and maybe I fill up like once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's not too bad. There's actually a park right over here. But for some reason, when I try to
Yeah, it's gotta fit.
It's gotta fit, and then I can use just like the normal like water fountain, but it takes forever, so cannot wait that long.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you did all the hookups. Like you sort of, was that complicated?
I guess everything is more complicated than you think it's gonna be. So like going to this, I'm like, oh, I saw some pictures online. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Yeah. Then I probably, just to do this, probably spent like hours and hours and hours at like Home Depot and Lowe's.
So you have a water tank?
Yeah, there's like 2 little tanks underneath.
How do you fill it?
I steal water from Wayburn.
How?
And then it goes like right to the floor.
You just like go to a friend's house and fill buckets or something?
Yeah. There are like little things that happen like right before class. I'm trying to make some breakfast and like the sink isn't draining and I have to get to class. So I had to like do a little procedure on the sink. Yeah, so basically it has just like the simple little hose. Okay. And then on the inside, you'll see there's like a water pump.
Look at that faucet.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
We have a worse one at home. I mean, it's really.
I wanted it to be a space where I felt like really like at home and that it was comfortable to live. So I thought it was worth like kind of putting a little bit more money and investing in just like the little details.
You can really clean veggies and.
Oh wait, the water pump, I have to kind of turn it on.
Wow.
See, it has good pressure.
That's good stuff.
Here's the pump. Sorry, you gotta squeeze in there. The space is hard. So I have my shoes here, I have my toothbrush.
Wow.
You really have to make use of like all the space. This is the pump right down here, and that's a little on-off switch. Technically, I think it still needs like, I think it's called an accumulator because it's still cycling sometimes. So this is not a perfect system. There are still like different things that are messed up and broken that I still have to work on. Like for example, this fan works. Literally the first week of med school, I was changing out the circuit boards in each of these fans. But this one now works, this one sadly, I don't know what happened.
You know the reason?
But there's so many things that are like still like not perfect, and I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
It's gorgeous. I mean, look at this. You have like butcher block countertop. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Is that affordable because you didn't use much?
I think it was an 8-foot slab.
Yeah.
I had to cut it down because it was a little too wide. And then I had to piece it apart and then cut the 2 holes for these 2 sections. I think it was maybe $300 for the butcher block. So it's not terrible. The only like consideration is that it's really heavy.
The tile is great too, but
Each tile like I put in myself, and each one is probably just like 75 cents. But for each component, I really invested a lot of time in really making sure it was something I was happy with.
this it's a nice looking range. And a regular, it's just off the shelf?
Yeah, no, it's just this is like a gas line.
Regular for a house, like not, yeah.
Yeah, and it's hooked up. I really have to maximize space here, so I have like all my pants and some shoes there. But this is just like a 5-gallon little propane tank. I had wanted to do all electric, but the amount of like battery power that you need to have like an all electric setup is kind of insane. It would have cost me another like $3,000 just to do like one of those fancy electric setups. So I actually have a bike here. Yeah, here's the bike. So I just take it out in the morning, and then I have the front wheel, and it's pretty easy. You just put it like this, and you're ready to roll. And I bike in every morning.
And how far are you usually from like classes?
I normally like park around here, so it's about like maybe just like an 8-minute bike ride to class. Actually a lot closer than some of my classmates. So actually there are some like people living all the way in the valley, commuting in. Sometimes it's like an hour and a half.
So you have sort of lofted your bed almost right above your little garage back here.
Yeah, this is like the big debate in van life, is whether to loft it up or to have like a little setup where you have like a table back here. So I'd spent so much time researching like what I like. And I also have a lot of friends who do this. Hey Justin, what's up?
Hey, what's up, good?
So how long have you been living in this?
I've been living in this for 3 years. We just have the front cab with like a little pocket door action. So this is kind of nice for privacy. This is my dinette space with a lagoon table with a lot of degrees of freedom and just kind of hanging out with friends, doing work. My hanging closet here, if you look there, I'm able to have my jackets, my dress attire, and then beneath the seat is additional storage. Awesome. Yeah, so I have my range here and an oven, which is primarily used for storage. So I'm able to keep a lot of my food in here, make it go the distance with a freezer for smoothies. So this is my shower in a wet bath configuration. And then the fingerboard, of course, can't forget that.
So coming in. So here is the front of the ambulance right here. This is the door that you can access, so you don't have to go outside. Right here is the percent for the battery. This one we're building also. This is the toilet, composite toilet. This is the It's a fridge and refrigerator, both. You can also create this table in here, so you can eat, work from home. You can work from home, invite a couple friends and eat it here. So you can sit it here and you can sit it there.
Why do you keep coming in here? Get out, get out, get out. Skedaddle. I'd spent a year before medical school traveling the US, working as like a freelance journalist. I have to do some dishes right now. So, as students, we do a lot of reading about all these different really interesting communities. For me, I really just wanted to go out and explore those communities.
Tile, that's a nice touch. This is.
Oh yeah, that pops out. I wanted to travel and I wanted to go and embed myself within these communities, but I couldn't like afford staying in hotels. So that's when I decided to convert a Ford Transit Connect, and I was roughing it out for like about a year. Okay, so I just sleep right on the floor here with the yoga mat down here, and then a sleeping bag, and then these two pillows that I lay right here. I had this smaller van. I had traveled the country, I'd sold it. Back home in New Jersey, I only had 2 months before starting medical school. This is my 2015 Ford Transit that I'm gonna be converting into a camper van in less than 2 months. I spent about 2 months straight in New Jersey. We actually grew up on a farm.
Just try to cut through.
Really little. So my dad and I were hard at work, working from like 5 a.m. to 9 at night. Just working on this like my life depended on it. I was in a huge time crunch. I only had 2 months before starting medical school, and I was committed to this goal of living in the van. So that gave me only 2 months to do this whole conversion and then drive out from New Jersey, where my family's from, all the way to California. So this is the kind of the electrical setup that my dad and I worked on. So this is an inverter. So a lot of the systems inside the van actually work on DC, and that's what this battery is. So this battery is a 200 amp hour DC battery. So that powers the fans, that powers the fridge, powers the water pump. There's a little, it's called a solenoid, and it helps open and close the valve for the propane system. So that all runs on DC. But if you want the fancy outlets, so you can like plug in a blender, plug in like a hair dryer, things like that, you actually need AC. So that's what this inverter does. So it's a 1,000-watt inverter converting the DC current of the battery to AC. So that is an alternator. So when you're driving, you're using that energy that's kind of left over from the battery in the front of the car, and that alternator is helping bring that energy to this battery back here. And then right in the middle over here is the charge controller.
And you hooked this all up?
My dad and I. Yeah, both my dad and I, we were kind of just playing it by ear, trying our best, doing a lot of research. Here we go. I didn't show you the fridge. So this is, I believe it's a truck fridge. What is the exact model? It's a CR130, and it's actually meant for like truckers and truck drivers. So it's all DC powered. But it's an expensive fridge. It's probably one of the most expensive purchases I've ever made. I think it's about $900.
And because it's so efficient?
Because, yeah, it's so efficient. It's DC powered. Like, they make very few fridges that are DC powered. So everything is like a work in progress. If I like pull it all the way out, it will like fall. So I still need to screw it into the bottom. But it's like, it's kind of, yeah. It's like, this is the one thing I also didn't build, I do have to say.
Yeah,
this was gonna take, it was gonna be too complex to build. But All these other drawers I did build.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
You made your own drawers?
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really proud of because I had no experience in drawer making or cabinet making. This is like one of the hardest things to build out of everything because you have to do what's called like a dodo cut. To get this piece in the bottom, you have to make like a little groove. So you cut a little line and then you squeeze it in, and to make that line, it's really hard.
What sort of tool did you use? A manual one?
My dad's friend, he like gave me like a dodo blade, but it was not working. I think it was too dull. So I ended up just using a table saw back and forth. Using a grinder for any of this you have to make sure you're wearing the right gloves. You have like a face shield. That's definitely tricky stuff. And like this, because I just went to Lowe's, got it on my back, brought it home, and just like used the table saw. But I'd never cut something this thick before, so it's definitely a challenge. Oh my goodness, this is my friend. Hello. I love being part of like just the community is really awesome here, and I love my classmates so much. Yeah.
What about the bed? Did you build that?
Oh yeah, everything is homemade, made with a lot of love. It's definitely an upgrade from the last man, because as I was saying, this was the same floor I used for the last man, and I was sleeping on this floor with nothing for a year, just a sleeping bag. I don't know, at that time I was convinced that sleeping on like a harder surface would be good for my back. Turns out it's not very good. So I've upgraded, and now I have this, it's like a memory foam mattress topper. I don't know, it was like $50. A lot of people with like some sort of big idea, they think that they have to invest so much money into it. If you go online and you kind of do some searching, you might freak out. You're like, the mattresses to get this size are going to be so expensive. It was going to be like $600 for a mattress. But instead, I was like, oh, I can just cut it down to size. And this ended up being like a $50 mattress. There's also a little table here for eating. So it comes out like that.
Oh, that's great.
So it just kind of pops in and out here.
And you could have a second seat here.
Yeah, so there's like a second seat here, and it's really nice just having guests over. And it's just like an incredible thing to have people over, knowing that I kind of like handcrafted the space. It's so cool.
Do you have a toilet?
So yeah, this is like a question that like people always are so worried about. I have like a jar for pee.
The pee jar, that's
the pee jar. Luckily, like my routine is just to like wake up early and bike to school, so I haven't had to do anything else. But I do have like an emergency toddler potty, if needed, you know.
Because toilet would just have been complicated, expensive, big, dirty, what?
All those reasons. Since the space is so tiny, it's nice to keep everything as clean as possible.
And then under the bed storage?
Oh yeah, these are just clothes.
Yeah.
The clothes.
This is your closet, basically, right?
This is my closet, and it requires that you keep minimal things. So I don't have like a million things, but it's everything I need. Here are my scrubs for school. Here it's like
your pantry.
Yeah, we got some espresso, we got some flour.
Do you have a coffee maker or something, or what do you use for that?
This little thing, which I was so excited to get this. It's back home on the farm in New Jersey. My dad had like one that made like 6 espressos, and I was like, I cannot handle 6 espresso shots. What am I gonna do? I'm one person. So I got a little tiny one. So excited. We hit the road. We're ready to go. And then this is what happens. It doesn't, because the flames come out here, so it wasn't gonna work. My friend, he offered to weld something, but I'm like, it's okay. So I just picked this up like a shower grate from whatnot, and there you go. There you go. Yeah, and there's this I use like maybe for the first 2 weeks. It's just a mini little waffle maker, a little tiny one. What I want to do for my classmates is like post up right outside of the med school and like text everyone. We have like a group chat, and I'll just text them, hey, making some pancakes, anyone want to come through? So I think I'm gonna set up a little like a shop outside the school. Another thing, I have all these like weird projects. I want to offer like free haircuts. I have a little buzzer back here. Baby wipes, so like if I can't shower, you got a baby wipe. And then here, this is not best case scenario, what I'm doing right now. I bought these little things to like hoist these up.
Yeah.
They're like gas struts, but I never installed them. So this is what I have to do. And then here is where I have my like buzzer kit. So I've given a lot of my classmates haircuts. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Wait, now you're on the bed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm on the shorter end. So I'm 5'5", and luckily I fit pretty nicely. It's not too bad. You do have to be cognizant. So actually one of the reasons I didn't get the best sleep last night was because I was sleeping on an angle, and I didn't realize, like, I parked like around the corner and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. But then I realized like midway through, like, I'm like at such an angle. So that's one of the reasons I didn't sleep so well last night. But for me, it's been like a really great space. It feels really comfy. And most nights I get like really high quality sleep.
The space just feels really nice. I mean, it just feels like a nice home.
Yeah, that's what you want it to feel like, right?
Yeah.
You want it to feel like really warm and cozy. I feel like cozy is a really nice way to describe it. Some friends from Denmark, they introduced me to this concept of hygge. It's their own term of like warmth and coziness. And I remember we were staying at a hostel together. And they're like, we're gonna introduce you, Ethan, to what hygge is. And they like, get ready. And they like dim the lights just a little bit more. And they're like, this, Ethan, this is hygge. Sorry, there's a little fire truck. So my professor, he actually so kindly gave me to help pay for a parking spot on campus. But that fire truck always drives by and gets too loud. Yeah, there's all these different
details, right? That you
these
don't
little
think about.
considerations, yeah.
Parking on a slope, fire trucks.
It's definitely a different life than like most people in LA live. And I think I get to experience other parts of LA and in ways that like other people can't.
5 years from now, for example, you think your sense of place is going to be impacted by it?
In terms of 5 years from now, I don't know where I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna be doing. I think a lot about professionalism and like what that looks like, and like what is the definition of professionalism? Can you live in a van as a medical student? Like is that professional or is it not? Can you be a doctor and live in a van? Like I've thought about that. It's just, I guess, a different way of looking at things and a different approach to life.
At this moment, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think just taking it day by day,